Okay, so hi everyone. So today we're going to look at the idea of prepared improvisation. From a previous class, we spoke about improvisation as a strategy where we use no script in the development of our theater, as well as spontaneous improvisation, where we get a chance to do it without any kind of planning. So today we're going to explore prepared improvisation. And prepared improvisation is one that is planned. All right, basically a prepared improvisation, even though we don't have a script, the process itself is planned. During this planning, a theme is given and there's some level of consultation or chat with the members of the group about what is taking place, as well as what they plan to do in terms of the development of the theater. Now, when we have persons planning this kind of work, we realize that it gives a better quality of work since that time is allotted to prepare the strategies or the ideas that going forward. So what happens is, because of this, it gives the group time to organize the ideas and have a structure which can be communicable with our audience members who are looking at it. Now, a suggested idea for planning of a prepared improvisation. Ideally, a prepared improvisation should take about 15 minutes. I know in some instances, some persons may take as little as 10 minutes, but I would suggest around 15 minutes. And with this structuring or the separation of the time, I would suggest that you use 5 minutes to discuss the activity with your classmates or your team, and then 10 minutes should be used to try it out before the actual performance. Keep in mind with prepared improvisation, we want to ensure that the quality of work is better and persons know exactly what they're doing, unlike the spontaneous, where persons have no clue about what is coming, what is going to happen, or what to take place. Obviously, with any form of improvisation, there may be some challenges, or it may not be ideal. But rest assured, this strategy, the prepared improvisation, it gives persons an opportunity to realize how they can put their work together and at least have some kind of structure that they could feel comfortable with. Now, one of the things I'd want you to pay attention to would be a plot development. And the plot development is broken into 3 components. The first one being your beginning, okay? And with your beginning, I put exposition and conflict. Exposition simply talks about how you're going to start this piece. What exactly is happening in the piece? And the conflict, meaning that there's some kind of problem that is going to arise. So we establish that. So you have your beginning, how you're going to start it, and then you're going to have some kind of problem. Now, as the problem continues, there's some kind of disagreement taking place, which is known as the rise in action. You know, some kind of tension that is going to take place among the characters, even if you're having 2 or more than 2, you know, that may happen. And then you have your climax. Now, the climax being the most interesting piece, where the conflict has building to a particular point where there's some kind of struggle and thing taking place in the piece. Now, when I say struggle, I don't necessarily mean a physical fight. All right, it might be a verbal argument. It might be some area that persons start to realize, oh, this is what's going to happen. And it's usually in any improvisation, it is usually the most interesting piece, where now you have reached a point where the only way you can, you have reached the highest point of the drama, where the only thing you can do now is to go down. And then you have your third area, which is your end. And the end now has a falling action where it is going towards the resolution. So there is some kind of solving of the problem, all right? And then finally, there's a point in time where this problem is resolved, all right? So I'll say it again. When you're looking at your improvisation, look at 3 areas: your beginning, which is your exposition or your starter and your conflict; the middle, which is your rise in action; and the climax, where everything takes place, or the most important part that takes place. And then your end, which is your falling action, and of course, how things were solved and things like that. Now, so I've given you 3 suggested prepared improvisation ideas. And I've broken them down into 3 groups. So one being a situation, all right? And I've given you an idea of the time I found a $100 bill. And as you look at these ideas, think about how you can create a drama, or how could you create an improvisation using this idea, all right, or this theme of the time you found $100 bill. I'm sure many persons have found money in instances, and now think about how this is going to cause the plot to be developed. The second one I gave you is a proverb. The longest rope has an end. And you have to think about the idea of how this as a drama is going to be interesting. Now, with all proverbs, the proverbs itself should not be taken in its literal sense. So you have to think about what are the hidden meanings behind this statement, the longest rope has an end. Think about it. What do you think that could mean in your life or your situation? And the third part, or the third idea, being an object, and I gave you guys a cell phone. Many of us, or many of you, use cell phone almost on a daily basis. And for those of you who don't even have a cell phone, I'm sure you wish you had one. So think about how you can use this physical object as a development of your improvisation. Now, what I've done is that I have taken the liberty of looking at an object and showing you how you can develop your improvisation. So I've developed this piece, very, very simple, and I've broken it down into the 6 components, all right? And the object I've used is a tree. So I've given the characters' names of Charlie and Deborah. So you realize Charlie is home in the beginning. He's relaxing, enjoying himself. If you look around, take a guess at which time of the year this is. I wouldn't tell you that. So you take a look at the little clues that are given on the picture. And then now we are having some kind of conflict taking place where Deborah, the girl Deborah, needs help to move a potted plant. And Mr. Charlie is not in the mood. So of course we're realizing that there's some conflict taking place. She wants help and he is willing to help. But eventually, what he does in the rise in action, you realize that he's decided to assist her. All right? And when he sees what the quote-unquote potted plant is, it is literally a big Mako Christmas tree. Now, how are we going to continue this problem? So, in order to solve the issue, in terms of the climax, they have decided now to cut the tree down into pieces. And now, of course, at this point in time, we have reached a high point where Mr. Charlie refuses to assist. And then Deborah now is most upset because the man decided to cut pieces of the tree till it has just returned to just a stump. All right? And then now we have a falling action where somebody decides to give her another tree free of charge. Okay? And this also, I think, brought the end of the problem and our resolution, where eventually the 2 characters leave very satisfied with a Christmas tree in hand. So think about those. Think about those 6 pieces in terms of developing your improvisation. Now, when you're doing this, you have to pay attention to brainstorming the ideas and come up with some very, very unique situations that could help you in the development of the improvisation. A few things I want you to remember with prepared improvisation is that it is planning. It is planning without a script. There is no script. So you're taking these notes, and as you note it, you're saying that there's planning without a script. Remember, I also mentioned that ideally you should take about 15 minutes to prepare your improvisation, but don't take the 15 minutes to talk about it. Take the first 5 minutes to talk about it, but 10 minutes to try it out. As a group, you have an agreed theme and follow the basic plot structure to assist in the development. And as you move forward with your piece, don't be afraid to think outside the box. And always remember to have fun when you're doing your work. I have a little activity for you guys to do. In groups of no more than 5, I want you to select any one of the activities listed in the prepared improvisation ideas that I gave you in the previous slide. And using the plot structure, write down a possible way in which the improvisation can be done. I trust that persons will take a lot of time to plan this. It is really, really fun and interesting ideas. So I look forward to see some very creative pieces from you guys as we continue with prepared improvisation. Thank you and take care.